So we're going to cover, how to raise your prices and double your profits without spending money on advertising. And once again, I just want to take the opportunity to thank Hannah Gilbert for everything that she does, Scott Ashton, and the entire team at Oceanside Chamber, because they've been so helpful and supportive through a lot of small businesses through not just Oceanside, but all of North County. So just want to thank them for that. So we're going to jump in right away. So today's roadmap is really, to give you guys the path to be able to increase your profits, right? And again, without spending money in marketing or advertising, because I always say spending money in marketing and advertising, it isn't that I'm against it, but it's like adding fuel to the fire, right? You want to have the fuel nice, glowing red hot, and then you add that fuel to it. So, but today we're going to focus specifically on increasing your profits. Now, so a couple of things we'll cover today. So how to increase your profits without costing you an extra cent, like I mentioned. And then the other one is, this is the big one, right? Like you want to be able to raise your prices, but you don't want to lose customers. So I'm going to show you a couple of strategies that you can implement that, kind of takes that fear or the anxiety away. And then the other one is, which is a really powerful method, is to actually sell additional products with little to no effort, right? Because you want to be able to have an array of products to be able to offer to your clients. So let me see if I can. Okay, cool. So one thing that I kind of talk about quite a bit is this 80-20 rule, right? And we've all heard about it, right? It's that 20% of our effort produces 80% of our results. I'm sure you're familiar with it, but really what it applies to our business, and it's something that I mention quite a bit, right? It's that 20% of what we do every day generates 80% out of our revenue. And if we dig down a little bit further, it really starts saying that, you're only doing a few things daily that makes the most of your money in your business, right? So the nice thing though is that, we're going to be able to share with you like what's that 20%, because everything, if you break everything down and if you just zone down on that 20%, then you put out your effort, obviously you work less and you produce more results. So that's what we're going to focus on today, is sharing with you what that 20% is in every business. Now, these are the 5 areas. That's it. If you take every single business and you break it down, these are the 5 essential areas, right? More leads, more conversions, more transactions, higher prices, and then more profits. So if you really focus on these 5 areas in the business, you really can see that 80% growth just by applying in these 5 areas. Now, one thing that's really important to remember as well is that small incremental changes produce big results. What I see sometimes a lot of businesses is they'll focus on one, right? Like on more leads, and then they forget about all the rest of them. But the kind of the secret is to apply incremental growth across all 5 areas. Now that you know all 5 areas, you're going to be more aware of it, right? So one of the things that I want to be able to kind of show you that incremental growth is really important, and really to see exponential growth, because that's really what we want to see, right? We work on our business so hard that sometimes we don't see that bottom line increase, right? Or with the pandemic, or with the COVID, or a reduction of customers, all of a sudden it squeezes everything down. But let's look at how can we create that exponential growth just by applying some small increases. So we're going to take a baseline out of a business. This could be any business, right? It's getting about 1,000 leads per month, or I'm sorry, per year. So it's getting about 250 sales per year, about 10 transactions, and their average price is about 100, right? So their revenue is 250, and their gross profit just has a baseline. Again, it's 25%. So it's they're taking home about 62,000 at the end of the year. So what happens if we just increase it by 10%, right? So we take these 5 areas and we just increase it just by 10%. Now, what I want you to look at that more revenue, right? So it went from 250 all the way to 366, but then look at that gross profit. So just by applying 10% evenly across these 5 areas, it actually saw a 62% growth. So it went from 60,000 for a 5-figure business to a 6-figure business take home, right? So again, just focusing on these 5 areas. Now, the other side of it, so let's take it a step notch, right? Let's apply 50% across these 5 areas. Now, I know what you're thinking. 10%, most businesses, it would kill to have 10% increase. And I'm gonna show you a couple of strategies today, and including the ones that I've showed you in the past, how you can really increase it by 50%. It's really not that difficult. So if you look at this one, now look at the revenue. It went from 250 all the way to 1.2. Now, if we look at the gross profits, it went from 62,000 to 474. Now, in this example, it's actually about 760% growth. And again, and I can't emphasize it enough. If you focus on these 5 areas and you just apply small incremental growth, it's going to have huge effect on your bottom line. It and again, it's the law of exponential growth, which is really really important to remember that it applies in your business. But let's kind of dig a little bit more, because now you can really see that it really can transform your business, right? Just focusing on these 5 areas. And again, I'm gonna show you a couple strategies today specifically to pricing where you can really see that apply the 50% growth across these 5 areas. So let's dig in a little bit. So again, so these are those 5 areas, and I'm only going to show you a few today because we got some limited time. But these are really the 5 strategies that all business coaches are working with their large businesses to really see that exponential growth. So let's dig in on the first one, which is one that I get asked quite a bit is, how can I get more transactions, right? How can I convince my clients to buy more often? Because remember, that one client that you have, it's actually it costs you 7 times more to get a new one, right? So if you really want to focus on those existing clients, so I'm gonna show you a couple of strategies right now. Um, so really, when you're selling more prospects, it really just involves, getting them to buy more frequently from you, right? More than what they're selling. One of the best strategies that I love is upselling and cross-selling, and it's the fastest and the least expensive way. Um, Now, the second is just offering more products and services to your clients, right? And we're going to dig in a little bit deep into each individual ones. Now, upsell, cross sell. Now, this one I love, upselling, right? And the most infamous one is for this one is the golden arches, right? Mickey D's, McDonald's, right? So when you walk into McDonald's and you order your Big Mac and those crispy fries, what's that other person on the other counter say? And they're trained to say it, right? Do you want to biggie size it, right? So once they get you to the biggie size, they just for another 25 cents or whatnot, they just upgraded you, right, to a larger size. So again, that's one great strategy. The second is cross-selling, right? So this is when you offer them a complementary service or item, what they're already buying from you. And again, we go to the golden arches, McDonald's. So after you order your Big Mac and your French fries, and they just biggie sized you, what do they ask you next? Would you like an apple pie with that? So that's cross-selling, right? So you're adding a complementary product to it. And again, the whole goal of it is for them to be able to buy more from you. Now, this is what a lot of businesses don't know. There was a research done by Harvard a few years ago. Prospects are 34% more likely to buy from you if you just ask them while they are already purchasing from you. Why? It's kind of like a psychological aspect of it, is because they're in the yes mode, right? So if you think about it, you're actually losing 34% more of that possible sales if you don't ask them to buy something else, right? So it's really something really important to remember. But let's go in a little bit more, dig a little bit deeper. So this is actual a client up in St. Louis. They are a auto service center. You see their flyer. Now they're offering all these free services, and they're creating an opportunity to get additional upsells and cross sells, because the whole point of it is to be able to get the salesperson in front of that customer, right? So obviously you bring more value. It's the perception of value, right? So if you look at that ad, it's all about free AC performance or radiator drain, tire rotation. Now, of course, they're providing that value, right? Because the customer's bringing in their car to check their tires, and of course, while they're down there, they're going to check the brakes, right? They might check their suspension or their shocks, or whatever other things. But they're providing more value, and again, that enables them to be able to add a cross sell to that, right? So again, so it's all about thinking of how can you get in front of your customer and for them to buy you another product. So let me give you another example. And I love this one because we've all experienced this one. This is the dentist, right? So the dentist offers basic dental services, right? Like a teeth cleaning. But if you all know that this is not where they make all their money, right? In actuality, oh, and in actuality, their revenue comes from cosmetic services like root canals, crowns, and fillings and braces, right? We've all experienced that. Now, let's think about this. So, if you're at a dentist, what might convince someone to leave their current dentist, right? So this was a client that we were working with. We did a little research. 85% of the population have medical insurance, but only 50% have dental insurance, right? So there was a survey done. So with the people without dental insurance, 44% of them said that this was the main reason they weren't visiting a dentist. Now, if you're a dentist, you kind of see where there might be an opportunity for them. So this is the ad that we created for this dentist, right? So if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, it was a $25 exam. Because if you look at the headline, quality dental care for families with no dental insurance. So they were basically offering a exam at the price of copay for those individuals that actually would have insurance, right? So if you look at that sub headline, it says better than insurance means less expensive than insurance. Now, if you recall from our first actual workshop, how to build $1 million business in 90 days, it's about getting the messaging, right? How to be entering into the conversation that's happening in your prospect's mind to be able to grab their attention. So that's what this dentist did. And we just used that $25 exam as the ability to be able to get in front of that customer. So once a dentist gets the customer in, where they make their money is with strategic partnerships, right? So these are services that the dentists don't even offer themselves. So they actually work with like endodontists, they work with an orthodontist for braces, right? Or Invisalign, or even Zoom whining. Because again, they're in front of that customer and they take that opportunity to either make strategic alliances with other professionals that offer complementary services to be able to offer them to their customers. And that's really where you really want to focus on when you're cross selling. Because again, that customer loves you, right? They trust you, they like you, and they've done business with you. So now you can offer them even more value by giving them a cross sell. Now, so write this down. The secret to more transactions is really, implementing the upsell and cross sell strategies. So in the chat, if you don't mind, do you see an opportunity where you can possibly add another upsell, right? Either upgrade their product or service when you're in front of that customer, or even do a cross sell. And again, a cross sell could be a complementary product, but it could also be, for a strategic alliance that you're building with a different partner, right? That you can offer to your customer. So if you want to put in the chat, yes or no, I mean, if it is the possibility. And then, so the next one is increase prices. Now, this is the whole thing about increasing prices. Every time I talk to businesses, they don't want to increase prices because they don't want to lose any sales. Well, let's take a look at it. So again, the key to higher pricing is value. You want to give that perception of value, right? So bundling is the best strategy to increase perception of value and increase your pricing, because what it is you group together certain products to create these packages, right? That are sold to the clients. Now, when you do this, it completely eliminates price competition, right? Because you see that, right? Most businesses, when I start working with them, they're right next or across the street from a similar business, and they become in this battle of price, right? That's where you have to build that value, and you start becoming unique by bundling, right? By creating that perceived value. And then it not only eliminates the price competition, but then you're able to actually increase the pricing. So let's have this example. So this was of a sunroom company down in Arizona. So this was their primary offer. And you see this, right? You see this like in the value pack you get in the mail, or even stuff between like the Sunday paper, right? So this is for $2,000 off for a 4-season sunroom, right? Now, here's a much more compelling offer that we created for the sunroom company. Now, this offer offers a free $6,200 bonus package, right? And what it is, it includes a complete furnishing of your new sunroom with sofa, love seat, chair, ottoman, and then 2 end tables and a coffee table, right? So, but what they did though, in order to offer that, they created a strategic partnership with a furniture company, right? So they made a deal with a furniture supplier that they were going to buy so many of these per year where they would receive the wholesale price. And that's why they were able to offer a $6,200 bonus package, because they were getting it for $1,600 per set, right? And again, that's just creating more value. And again, it just kind of becoming more creative with your business. Now, side by side, which one of these perceived has more value, right? And you can put it in a chat. Is it the $2,000 or is it a $6,200 bonus package, right? So side by side, obviously, you're going to get the one that has more perceived value. And in my eyes, it was a $6,200 bonus package because that was just more enticing, right? So again, so write this down. So the secret to higher pricing is to have a bundling strategy. And again, you can put it in the chat. Are there some what I want you to start thinking about? How can you bundle your packages, or your product or your services, and give more value, increase the price, and even think about like a bundling package. You can even get a little bit creative and you can do a cross sell, right? You can add additional products as part of your bundling strategy. But again, that really reduces price competition. And that's how it makes you unique than the other people in your industry. All right, so this is the big one, the more profits, right? So how do we skyrocket profits and dominate markets like yours? So there's really only two ways, and I'm kind of laughing because there's only two ways to increase profitability. You either increase revenue or you decrease costs of doing business, right? So of course, increase revenue, you just raise your prices, right? And we covered a couple strategies like that as well. Now, the other one is decrease your cost of doing business. But of course, you can cut your labor costs. And we covered a couple of strategies last week on how you're able to, decrease your costs, right? Because that again has 100% impact down at your net income. But let's dig in on raising prices. So the easiest way to be able to, the easiest way is to be able to just to raise your prices, right? Now, when I talk to business owners and we sit down and start going through the finances, right, and then the first thing I start looking at is at their prices and start comparing them. They usually say they've never raised them, and it's usually one reason and one reason alone. That's because they're scared, right? Because no matter how small, they always tell me that if they increase it, all these customers are going to leave, right? Now, it's possible, but let's break into it a little bit. So let's say if you sell a service or product for $100, right? And you decide to increase the price just by 10%. That's it. So it's going to go from 100 to 110%. So what really is going to be the lead to a loss to customers? So let's kind of dig in a little bit. Of course, some customers will leave, right? And those customers are the ones that shop only by price, of course, right? And they have no loyalty to you or your product. But there is going to be some sort of attrition, right? So let's see to what extent. So let's kind of dig deep a little bit so we can kind of see what the loss would be like. So let's say if you increase by 10% and you're selling something for $100, so now you're making an additional $10, right? Now that's 33% profit increase. Now, just a 10% price increase results in a 33 profit increase, right? So that can be dramatic impact in your business. But let's say, so at the original price at the $100, let's say if you're trying to make $1,000 in profit. So you would have to sell 33.3 of these services or products to get to that $1,000 in profit. Now at the new pricing, by 10%, you only need to sell 25 of those services. So what that means is that just to break even, this business would have to lose 25% of its customers over just a measly 10% increase. Now, it's really not going to happen. Of course, you always want to err on the side, right? I always recommend to test in small increments to kind of test the reaction of your clientele. But really, you would have to lose 25% to really have an impact on your business. And so again, there's really no faster or easier way to generate revenue than to increase your pricing. Now, so write this down. The secret number one to more profits is, of course, to raise them, right? And again, in the chat, Put yes or no if you think that you can raise the prices, within, or when's the last time that you actually raised the prices? Was it last week? Was it a year ago? Was it, yesterday? But it's something really important to really look at your pricing. Now, as we talked a little bit about, the real value to increasing profitability in your business is to offer more value than your competition, right? And we covered a couple of those strategies. Now, this is something really important to remember. Prospects will pay twice the price if they believe they're receiving four times the value, right? It's all perceived value. Now, unfortunately, most businesses, in an attempt to increase value, what's the first thing that they do is they normally give discounts, right? And this destroys their profit margins. Now, did you know that for some businesses, even if you decrease by 10% your price, you have to sell 50% more just to break even? So what that means is you have to actually sell, you have to get in front of 50% more customers, right? You have to make 50% more, connections with individuals to be able to sell your product. And that's pretty hefty. Now, for example, so if you sell a widget for $100 and you have a 30% profit margins, which means you're making $30 for every widget or service that you sell. This means your cost basis is $70, right? So if you discount the widget just by 10% and sell it for 90 instead of 100, your cost basis is still the $70 because your cost still stays the same. So now you're only making $20 in profit instead of $30, right? Now, for this business to make that $1,000 in profit, because that's our goal, they would have to sell 33.3 widgets or services. Now, but by discounting, right, just by 10%, now they got to sell 50 widgets. Now, again, that means they have to sell 50% more services or widgets just to get back to the original profit margin. So you can see for this specific business, a 10% price discount has a huge impact. And they have to make 50% up more just to break even to where they were at before. But consider this. So when's the last time you saw just a measly 10%, right? So most of the time, most businesses, they get in this frenzy of discounting, right? So they offer 20 and then it goes up to 40 discounts. And then a lot of businesses, when I start working with them, and they start realizing, why are they going broke or why their profits are almost zero because of the discounting. Now, this is something really important to remember to kind of add salt to our wounds now is that research says that most prospects don't even want to buy at 10, 20%. They want to see that 40% or more discounts. And, what impact would that have on the business if you just keep increasing it until you actually get more sales? So again, the closely guarded secret for successful businesses that they don't want you to know is really stop discounting and use those strategies that I just outlined, like bundling, cross-selling, or upselling to be able to offer more value. And again, if you discount your price, you really lose the full value of every dollar in your discount. And one way that we spoke about, kind of like what the dentist does, right? Is you want to innovate your business to offer more value than your competition, right? And even if that means increasing your pricing, because again, just remember, we think people buy on price, and it most likely is, but that's because as business owners, we don't give them that value comparison, right? So they can see that perceived value, and then they're able to possibly even pay higher pricing. So again, so write this down. So the secret to more profits is, stop discounting, right? And so in the chat, if you kind of see where it can have a positive impact in your business, put a yes or no. I mean, so discounting really is really something, of course, depends on the business, but you saw what impact it can actually have. So I hope by now we started looking at that, exponential growth where just small incremental gains across these 5 areas. And we covered only just a couple strategies for those bottom three, that can be really transformational for your business. So really look at your business, look at where, you can actually, how can you get more transactions for your customer, right? How are you able to apply some of the strategies to increase pricing, right? Either upselling, cross-selling or bundling. And at the end of the day, just be able to increase your profits by looking at your pricing and, maybe by not discounting and just by providing more value. Now, I got recently asked to write an article for the Six Figure Coach magazine. So I'm trying to get some local businesses that wouldn't mind to being interviewed for it, because what they want to do is they want to see local businesses uh, to see how these strategies would work for them, right? And these strategies, I mean, they can consistently generate about $10,000 to $50,000 in your business. So I'm just kind of asking for your help in the article. If you're interested, of course, or you might know someone that might, I'll show you the strategies how to increase between $10,000 to $50,000, plus, how to increase your leads and your sales. And then I'll teach you the strategies. And the only thing I ask though is because what they're asking for the article is to be able to put the estimate of increased revenue inside the article. So, and again, it's no cost and you get to keep all the revenue. So if you're interested, just let me know. Or you might know someone that might. These are some of the customers we have. But if you just go to Find Me 50K and you can just book an online call with me, and and if you want to be featured in the article, and I'll be able to teach you those strategies. But now, so I'm gonna open up to questions, and hopefully we've got some questions, and we can kind of make it into like a little focus group mastermind. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. If I could get this down and open it up for questions, if anybody's got any questions.
Thank you so much for that, Juan. Go ahead, Vanessa.
I have a question because of the bundle, or is it a bundle or discount? We have class packages, 5 class packages, 10 class packages. And when the people buy, if they have a just drop in, they pay more. And when they buy a 5 class package, they pay a little bit less per class. And then just we are bundling the prices, and then for 10 class package they're paying cheaper. Then I have more or less less money. We have also an additional discount for military. It means they are getting additional discount. So my question is, what do you prefer us? What's the best for us? Because like just example, for 5 class it's $90 for regular package, 5 class package, and if you are from military you are paying $80 for 5 class package. So regularly, if you have a drop in, you have $20 per drop in, and the first time class is $10. So my question is, should we change this totally and make like, okay, if they would like to have 5 class package, then we give them additional gift certificate for $20, something like that, or just let it like we have done before, because it's like a bundle. I am not sure it's a bundle or is a discount.
That's a great question, Vanessa. Well, so let's think about this. So, and it all goes back to your profits, right? Like how much are you, how much is it costing you per class, right? Uh, so I can't answer your question 100%, but one strategy would be, instead of giving a discount, you can bundle in something else. Like for instance, depending on, let's say if they buy a 10 class, or you might be able to add another class to it. You want to include something that's not
Ah,
costing you more, right?
okay, I understand.
Because
Just
it's always easier to give something that because like a discount, it's affecting your profit like 100%,
yes,
right?
yes,
Um,
yes. It's not.
so it
Hmm. I'm understanding that it's not really bundling. We were thinking that's bundling, but it's not really bundling. It's like it's discount, no?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's 100% a discount.
Yes,
So
because
you
it's
can
less
you
money.
can also add now remember what we said. You want to be able to get a little innovative, right? Like what other services or offers that you can include that have perceived value. It might not be even another class. Maybe it's not knowing what you're offering, something else that you have that's not costing you more, but you can
Mhm.
include it with it, right? Um,
Okay, okay, we will think about it. Okay,
yeah,
what it can
yeah.
be. Okay, thank you.
But
Because
so
again,
Juan,
yeah, go ahead, Ernie.
oh, sorry. What I was saying is like with her idea, because we offer something similar with that as well, where we give them a discount if they prepay for multiple trips, with the concept of with every visit, there's more opportunity for add-on sales. So that might be the interest, is that, and I'm speaking like to Vanessa as an idea, is something where you're hoping that when they come back for that second class, maybe they're paying less for the class, but maybe they buy that piece of jewelry that you're trying to sell them,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
a new yoga mat, or I'm just guessing of what her business is. So I'm just, because that's why I've done it, and the only reason why, since the pandemic, that is one of the only few. We've cut out all of our digital discounts. We only offer our what I call like organic, basically our locals that come all the time, multiple group trips, and then the military, because the military is so difficult to get on base to sell, because we sell our tickets on base. Those are the only two we still honor at a discount. That was my comment on that, Vanessa.
Thank you. Mhm.
Yeah, and that's perfect. Yeah, because I mean, so one thing to remember, I mean, so basically you're cross-selling them, right, Ernie? I mean, as they
Yes,
come in.
that's exactly the idea. Is a cross sell or an upsell, but you're right, cross sell, because you get in front of them more. I try not to make it too large of a discount, and that's one thing that I probably need to revisit as I've been thinking in here. But I understand what you're saying. The advantage is to be able to get in front of them one more time. More swings of the bat.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, so you could get creative with a cross sell, upsell, and the easiest thing, like Ernie said, like you have a list of those, so when that customer comes back, you know exactly what to offer them, right? And it might be like an upgrade. Ernie, do you have like upgrades that you can offer them as well?
Oh, we have other types of trips that would be like, we do upgrade. Oftentimes we have groups that'll come in, hey, we're a family, and okay, well, if you guys would like to book, we have what I would call like our city bus. You get your reserving seats on a bus, or would you like the whole? Would you like to have the whole car for yourselves? You can charter the whole boat just for your group. So that's what the next, that's kind of our upsell on that aspect. But one of the things, and this is your field, Juan, and I was going to ask you a question to you, because as in my years of doing this in my industry, what I have really been, about 5 or 6 years ago, I quit offering that bundle discount to any customers that were not already customers. This is a unadvertised, this is like the secret menu at In-N-Out type thing. And that's how we offer it. And I don't know if that works for other people or not, but I kind of treat it more as a loyalty program than a advertisement.
Absolutely, absolutely. And and the whole thing with bundling is you don't want to discount it. It's a matter of actually bundling. You raise the price, right? But it's the perceived value. It's that they see you put certain things together, and then you actually raise the price because they're expecting that they're getting more value for it.
Okay. We will think about it.
Juan, I had a quick question. Or Jose, your question is way more important than mine. Go ahead.
No, everything is important. Thank you. Okay, my field is in finances, so pretty much the price is set. Do you have any idea how I can improve in this topic? And also, I really want to see again the video from the last week. I see some stuff that I really want to get deeper.
Yeah, let me drop the YouTube link for you real quick.
Great. Thank you, Juan.
No, you're welcome to say, yeah, because I know Yolanda said, how do you get, so sometimes it's difficult to get in front of individuals, right? Especially like if you want to give them something like, come, let me teach you, right? Let me show you how this can benefit you, especially with financial services. I want you all to think that we're all kind of greedy. We all want to know like, what's in it for me, right? Like if I see your video, or if I attend your training, what's in it for me? So that's where, and we covered it on the first workshop, is, we want to enter to the conversation that's occurring in our prospect's mind, right? Like what's their problem that they have but don't want? And then what's the solution that they want but don't have? Because we always kind of talk from our perception. So if we're able to answer those questions, and I don't know if I gave you guys this strategy, but The best way to do it is to get a sheet of paper and write the top 10 problems that your customer has, right? The like the top 10 problems or the top 10 questions that they ask about your product or service. And then on the other column, you just write all the answers and then you sort them. And then you just pick the top three, and those top three are going to be their main problems. And then you're going to have your three solutions. And that's how you communicate with them. Because we think like, we want to be able to help them, like with like help them save money, right? Or help them protect their family. But in their mind, that's not the problem that they have because they don't even know they have the problem.
Yes.
So you want to be able to kind of take them. One of the best ways to do it is to take them to the future and say, look, if you don't have this, this can happen to you, right? And then you paint that picture and then you bring it back to where they are now. And it's like, you don't want that to happen. So with my product or service, I can fix that for you, right? So it's called future pacing. You actually take them to the future and then you bring them back. And then now you're kind of talking the same language, if that helps.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Cool,
When I work in those.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a great question.
Larry, you had a
Hey,
question?
Juan. Yeah, thanks. Hey, Juan, I'd like your take on this philosophy of bundling. So you bundle a package of product or services together at a discount. Maybe it's even like a loss leader. Maybe you even lose a little bit of money on. With the philosophy of getting the customer into your system and they have a pleasant experience. They have a good experience. They love it, and they keep shopping every month, every decade, every year, and they are long-term customers. So you bring them in with a discounted price, but then you have a customer for life. Paying your retail price or whatever it is. What's your thought on that? I mean, initially you could lose money on the front end because our company does that. We lose money on bundles that we have, but we know because we've been tracking this for a long time that customers stay longer when they experience more of what you have to offer, and they stay longer and they tell other people. Because that's really important for any business is to get referrals, right?
Yeah.
So what's your thought on that? So we might lose money, for a couple of months, but long term.
That's a great question, Larry. So it's you need to know your lifetime value of your customer. Very, very important. And you're correct. Like for the dentist. So when we were working with the dentist, that lifetime value for that customer was about $15,000, right? So they were able to offer $25 dental exam because they knew if they could get that customer, and I think it was about 3 out of 10, they would get that $15,000 customer for life, right? So it's really important that every single business needs to know what's the lifetime value of that customer. And the way you figure it out is, what's the average sale price, and then how long are they with you, right? And you're correct. And then you mentioned loss leader. What that is, it's actually you have a value ladder, and what that does is, if you can imagine, you always have a product or service that's down here. Like the dentist is that $25 exam, right? After that is like teeth whitening. It's about 150, and then they know once they get the 150 teeth whitening, then they can go up to maybe braces, and then they keep going up. So correct. So 100%. So if you know that lifetime value of that customer is extremely important. That way you can say, you know what, I will give them that free class because I know if I get them with me and I have certain things in place that once they stay with me, they're going to be worth to me $10,000, right? Because they keep coming back to me and they give referrals. That's all part of the lifetime value. But correct, absolutely, Larry. And that's why companies will give certain things at a real low price, even lose, like the dentist, because they knew their lifetime value. And over time, it's so beneficial that they could always care less. But it's all calculation. And that is really important to know when you're marketing too. So when you're spending money in marketing, like in Facebook ads or Google, you want to know what the lifetime value is, because then that actually tells you exactly how much you can actually spend per customer, if that
Mm,
makes sense. And
interesting.
that's really, really important. Maybe on the next, so I have this formula that you can actually put together, and it tells you how much you can spend per customer, if you know their lifetime value, and a few other things. But yeah, that's extremely
Really
important.
interesting.
Yeah, that's a great
Cool.
question there.
Cool. Thanks, Juan.
All right, we're at time. Does anybody else have any more questions? And I love this, by the way. Thank you all of you for asking questions. Vanessa, Ernie, Larry, and Jose. Thank you.
Yeah, and if no one else has any other questions, we can go ahead and close out the meeting. We will have our fourth and final workshop next Friday. It's already February. February, what is it, 5th, I want to say, is next Friday. And the topic is how to increase the value of your business so you can sell it for top dollar. So Juan has started us from the very beginning, and he's taken us all the way to the end. When you're ready to sell and move on to a new venture or retire, whatever you want to do, how to get it off your hands and still come out with some cash on top. So Juan, if you want to
Cool.
give a little sneak peek, if I missed anything, for next Friday.
No, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And yeah, so with my first business, I was able to build it up and then sell it. And what I'm going to show you is what individuals look at when they want to buy a business, right? On both sides of it, as a business owner and then also as a buyer, because you literally, on some businesses, once you build that business, then it's like the cookie cutter. It's like McDonald's, right? You just take it and you just multiply it. So I'm going to show you a couple strategies on how to build that, and then what individuals, if they're looking to buy a business, what are they looking for? So I'll give you that template next week.
Awesome. Thank you, Juan. And I did just drop that link in the chat if anybody wants to go ahead and register. But be on the lookout come early next week for this series, for this section of the series to be up on our YouTube channel. I would advise you to save the chat right now if you want to collect any information, but I will attach that come that time as well when I send that email with the YouTube link. So the first two, I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. It's too late for me. The first two videos from the series are on our YouTube channel, so definitely go back, check those out. And if you ever need any PowerPoints or anything, reach out to me or Juan, and we'll go ahead and get those sent over. And if you have any questions, please follow up with Juan. He's always available to answer any questions for you guys. And I appreciate you so much for coming out here and spending an hour of your time with you. Thank you, Juan, again for another great presentation. And I hope to see all of you guys next Friday. So enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a good rest of your day.